What's good, YouTube? Welcome to the YouTube channel. This is your boy Soulblaze. Now, welcome to the Draft League Games Recap. I'm going to be covering my Little Cup tournament, the SOS, where we have exciting games in the winner's bracket and the loser's bracket. Today we're going to be covering the winner's bracket matches. One that I play versus my good friend Market. We are longtime standing rivals. We've known each other since 2018, which is 6 years ago, which is crazy to say. Some of you watching this video probably feel very old for me saying that, me included, obviously. And the other half is going to be my moderator, Demo, which I believe is from Spain, or who I believe is from Spain. Very good guy, very kind guy, very smart guy, who's facing one of the players of all time. It's Paycheck, who I regard as an absolute demon, knocked me out of the Hybrid Cup, which was going on in the latter end of last year. Very, very strong player. Has shown pretty much nothing but brilliancy as long as they've been a mainstay in the SOS. Really happy to have him playing with us. So this is going to be some exciting matches. If that's something for you, make sure to show your support, like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into the games. And this is winner semifinals. So this is really exciting. Both have a lot on the line. And the matchup is, as you see in front of you, there's obviously more to the matchup when it comes to draft, but this is what they brought. And without any further ado, let's head on into the games. Slowpoke versus Trubbish Lead. Now, Slowpoke might be one of the Pokemon that can break through Trubbish. If you don't know what Trubbish does, it likes to stay in and heal a lot using its Berry Juice item, which recovers all of its HP from when it's half HP, pretty much. And it's an item that can be removed with knockoff, which is very strong in Little Cup. However, Trubbish is of the poison type, and Slowpoke is of the psychic type, meaning that stab psychic moves might be able to take Trubbish out before it can heal, depending on the sets, of course. Trubbish goes for spikes, which is a very legit play. As you can see on Demo's side, I see no rapid spin, and I also see one Pokemon that is off the ground, which will not take damage every time it comes in from spikes. So, as you can imagine, spikes is very good in this matchup. Slowpoke goes for Thunder Wave, wants to slow down the Trubbish. It is 17 speed, which is pretty fast for a tank. I'd like to call Trubbish like a bruisery kind of tank. So he's slowing that down with a chance of it not being able to move. And it also covers switches pretty nicely. The only thing that cannot get Thunder Waved on the opposing composition from Paycheck is Gauntlet, as Thunder Wave is an electric type attack, and that cannot hit ground types. Switches to Vulpix Alola to get off the snow, which gives ice types a 50% defense bonus. And I assume they want to go for some kind of Aurora Veil. I told you this game would be crazy. Demo Flamethrowers, knowing that there are two ice types, that just does not want them to come in for free. Does not care about Quaxley coming in because it can T-Wave. Does not care about Gauntlet coming in, because it can probably live a hit and go for like a water move or something of the sort and switch. Doesn't fear more spike stacking, and just in the face of danger goes for a Flamethrower. That is an epic play. And does half health to Vulpix as it gets up the screen the next turn. Here, Paycheck's item is most likely going to be revealed, depending on if Veil stays for 8 turns or if Snow stays for 8 turns. Is it a Snow extending item or is it a screen extending item? We don't know. Slowpoke, knowing that he can set up Veil or predicting danger from taking damage from super effective Stab, Freeze Dry, goes for the minus priority teleport, which always goes last, bar Trick Room, and activates regen. If it should have taken some damage, it can heal some of that back up. Goes into Scraggy. Vulpix is not a fairy type yet, but it does get Moonblast, so that is an option. Does come in on the spikes. Does set up the Intimidate, which is not that relevant since this is a special attacker, first and foremost. Vulpix uses Baton Pass and passes on every stat that it has. So that means it got tagged with Intimidate, and it now passes on the minus attack from that Intimidate over to whatever's coming in. Goes to Sentry Alola. This is a physical attacker. So now the Intimidate that didn't really matter got passed over to something where it's actually going to have effect. This is huge for the implementation of the game. Sandshrews' whole game plan is activate its ability Slush Rush, get double speed in snow. The snow is up. Stand behind the screen to get better defenses, to potentially set up sword stances, to get off a Terra. This is a Terra Captain. Start going ham, getting more stats, doing more damage. But as you know, Paycheck can't be snow extending item and screen extending item, which means one is about to go first. And will it be the extra defense or the extra speed? We don't know. But it is tagged with minus attack, meaning that in order for Sentry to clean sweep this game, it might have to deal with Scraggy coming back in, Intimidate, tagging it again. And it now has to use turns of snow and screen to try and do damage and or set up with being minus attack. So Sword Stance is only going to be +1 now. I'm sorry, my Darumaka fell to the floor. Shocked by all this, as you can see. A truly shocked statement. So Paycheck's game plan has kind of been slowed down a little by this Intimidate. So let's see how this goes. Brick breaks for 76% damage. No Terra. Stays the typing for this turn. Quad weak to fighting, which is stab from Scraggy. Brick break breaks the screens and does 76 damage. This is huge. That was a risky potential. Like if that brick break crits, not only does it ignore screens, it kills Sentry upright, and it completely takes away Paycheck's entire win condition. That's huge. So this brick break did a lot against Paycheck. It did an absolutely astonishing, baffling amount. How does Paycheck respond? Stays in. Goes for the Terra, wanting to go from a quad resist from brick break, stab brick break, to now a resist. Calcing it, probably lives because it's Sandshrew. It has Eviolite and it's resist now, probably, and wants to KO it with Terra Blast or wants to go for a Sword Stance, predicting the switch. There's a lot of options. Goes for the Terra Blast. It does 22%. Not that much considering Slowpoke can heal from switching 33% of its health. Max health. Goes for a Psychic, hoping to KO, catching the Ponyta on the switch in. This more likely reveals its item defensively. If it's Eviolite, it's doing less. If it's not Eviolite, it's doing more. Ponyta starts to Calm Mind. This is dangerous. This is dangerous for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's a +1 special attack, which obviously does more damage, and this is 19 speed, so it's very fast. It can speed tie or kind of check a lot of your defensive options now because it can actually start to bust through some of the defensiveness that you have. Secondly, this gets a Spadef boost on top of what I already assume is an Eviolite. So this becomes immensely tanky on the special side, and you're facing a special attacker. Demo responds with T-waving this thing, which is absolutely huge again, because you do cut off that speed, making it maybe miss a turn here and there to full paralysis, maybe cutting its speed enough. It is 19 divided by 2, rounded to the whole number. So I'm not really sure if we take 19 divided by 2. This thing is 9 speed now. This thing is 9 speed now. And a lot of what you have in the back that would have gotten outsped earlier now outspeeds it and can hit it on the physical side, do damage to it, hopefully get a turn of full paralysis and get it out the way or make it switch. That's the whole game plan. So it's a huge T-wave. There you already see Ponyta, although it's faster than Slowpoke, Slowpoke is immensely slow. Probably 5 or 6 speed here. Ponyta doesn't get to do damage. Maybe it was a Shadow Ball. Doing immense amount of damage to Slowpoke. Killing it from this range. Maybe. That could have been a huge turn. It could have been another Calm Mind. Or it could have been an attack predicting a switch in. But loses that turn to full paralysis. And Demo punishes with teleporting into Scraggy. Here takes the Spike again. Again, Spike's coming into the effect. Intimidate goes off. Doesn't really matter on a special attacker because you can already see it's Calm Mind, so it's going to be special. It would matter if it's mixed, but in this case, it is most likely not. Knockoff is huge. Paycheck recognizing that their switch into Knockoff is not that pretty, though you can argue the Trubbish having an item that can be knocked off could come in here, but it is paralyzed, and you don't want to give Scraggy too many free turns because it can start to Dragon Dance, and if you're paralyzed, you can get stuck in front of it, and you can kind of give it a lot of setup for free, which could be potentially scary. And Paycheck's item on Vulpix is also revealed now that it's Snow Extending. We've seen a lot of snow. This was what I believe to be the last turn of snow. And if snow is 8 turns, that means it's Icy Rock. So from what we can gather, this was Eviolite. This is Eviolite because there's no way to live that Brick Break otherwise. And this is Icy Rock. And this is Berry Juice. So from what Paycheck is showing, we know a lot of the items that Paycheck brings to the table here. However, on Demo's side, we probably know this is Eviolite from the way it's been tanking Psychic and Terra Blast. And we don't really have an idea of what Scraggy is. I think we can for sure know it's not Scarf. But it has been taking Spike's damage and not really any attack, so it's hard to know based on damage what it is. So in terms of item, showing item, then Demo is definitely at an advantage here. I like my pants. Me too. Gullet comes in standing opposed to a dark type that just used knockoff. This can mean one of two things. Either it's designed to tank this knockoff and kill in return, or it's designed to be faster through the means of a potential Scarf. Goes to Drifloon, uses a ghost move opposed to dark type, hard, almost as if it hard predicts Drifloon coming in, and it kills the entire Pokemon. So all of the progress that Demo's done in this battle is kind of, if this game had an evaluation bar like in chess, it would drop down right now. Getting a full kill for free is kind of crazy. So from what was a 6v5 with a paralyzed Mon is now a 5v5 with a paralyzed Mon, which is a completely different playing field. Gullet switches out, which it does have some fighting moves in its arsenal, so you can kind of if it is Choice Scarf, then it would play as if it's like you can bluff it, you can actually be it, but it's only revealed one move and switched out. Note for later. Baneri goes for Triple Axle, which is a pretty strong move. It does quite a lot of damage here. Each hit gets stronger, and obviously there's a chance to miss on HOM. Procs Trubbish Berry Juice. Ghost Vulpix Alola sets up its own snow, which you can argue would be bad because you are giving your opponent Wind Condition, extra, like double speed, and 1.5 times defense if it's non-Terra Fairy. So it doesn't get the defense boost, but it does activate its ability. And though you can set up screens on your own, you also enable your opponent to set up screens for you. However, this time Snow activates, it might not be 8 turns, because Demo might run a different item than Paycheck on his Vulpix, not choosing to extend Snow turns, meaning if Paycheck goes into Vulpix and tries to set up his own Snow, it won't override the already set Snow, which will only be 5 turns. So it's kind of a little mini version of Snow, if you want. Sets up the Aurora Veil. Aurora Veil has now been showed on both sides and been brick-breaked on both sides. Very interesting. Goes for the baton pass into Scraggy, hoping Veil is up, but is not. Tagging Golett with minus attack. Golett stays in. Goes for a brick break. This could be potentially a huge turn for Demo, knocking off Golett, seeing its item, so on, so forth. Getting rid of item on Golett could be huge if it is a potential Scarf. Again, the second time it comes in, it's only been using one move. Goes with the Zen Headbutt, predicting Trubbish to come in. Knowing that knockoff won't do enough damage, that Zen Headbutt, now that Berry Juice is consumed and hasn't been recycled back yet, that Zen Headbutt can potentially kill this thing. I would argue that going for knockoff is better because you can Zen Headbutt the paralyzed Trubbish after. You might get a flinch, you might get a para, so on and so forth. So it might be a little miscalculation in that sense. But still, Golett stays in, kills Scraggy with minus attack break. It's now 4v5. Slowpoke comes in, takes the spikes, has regen. Trubbish comes in on this. I don't know if it predicted T-Wave, but Golett had to swap out if it is locked into Brick Break. If it's not locked into Brick Break, it could stay in and go for minus attack Poltergeist, but probably wants to swap out anyway, if it is Scarf, if it's not Scarf, just because of the fact that it can not take damage or die for free, even though it can't get paralyzed. Goes for Psychic, does huge damage on the Trubbish, gets the minus Spadef drop, recycles the Berry Juice to get it back, plans to set up some more spikes, but gets the Spadef drop. So now, that Psychic, which just did 86, will now do more damage, seeing as the special defense is 0.67 times what it was. Psychic will now kill as it recycles the Berry Juice. Instead of setting up a spike layer, it tries to go for a Gambit and dies. That might also be a miscalculation. Vulpix comes in, sets up the snow. We had this opposition earlier. We had Slowpoke facing Vulpix, setting up screens, and we now know the Vulpix item gets paralyzed. So now Vulpix is very slow, but it did get to set up the screens, probably buffering Baton Pass. That didn't come to fruition because you're slower than Slowpoke now, and dies to Psychic. Crit, I don't think matters from that range. Sentry comes in and is prepared to face a full HP Slowpoke. Terrablast does 25, lives the Psychic on 1 HP, 5%, and chooses to go for Triple Axle, hoping for a switch out, or wanting more chip damage. Sandshrew, the win condition, goes down. Golett behind screens comes out. There is one Poltergeist immunity remaining, and there is 0 Brick Break immunities remaining, meaning if Vulpix Alola wants to come in and set up screens, Brick Break can 100% always break that screen. Swaps out, gets the regen, goes to Baniri, takes the spikes, and Paycheck predicts and uses a fighting move opposed to Psychic type. When the normal type comes in, trying to be immune to Poltergeist, dies and drops to Dynamic Punch. Slowpoke comes in, hurt by the spike, which is not very visible here, by the way, but nonetheless, 3 turns of snow prevail. And Paycheck goes for Dynamic Punch. Now, you might say, Dynamic Punch, okay, that's a 50% accurate move. Why is it hitting so much? Well, Gollett's ability No Guard makes it hit all the time. Makes every move. When Golett is out on the field, it makes every move hit all the time. In a single battle, anyway. Dynamic Punch also has the secondary condition of always confusing. Hits itself in Confusion. Goes to Quaxley. Confusion ends early. Gets Psychic. Puts it down to half. Berry Juice comes back up. We now know Quaxley's item, what Quaxley's item was. Gets a crit on the Brave Bird. Leaves Slowpoke at 1 HP. Paralyzes the Quaxley. Snow is stopping. Psychic for damage. Rapid Spin to try and gain some of that speed lost from the paralysis back. Gets the Moxie boost from killing Slowpoke. And now Magby stands a post. Magby is the Terra Captain of Demo. If this has Aqua Jet, It's either gets a kill if it's fire. If it's water resistant, it gets chip damage. And Magby goes first. No Aqua Jet is shown. Gauntlet comes in. No Poltergeist immunity. Vulpix is at 37% HP. Meaning that if Gauntlet can kill this, it can probably most likely kill Vulpix in the back, especially if it's Scarf. Like it has, like we've been suspecting it to be all game. Gauntlet goes first, showing that it's Scarf. If this kills Magby, Magby did not Terra, so this was Poltergeist on one Spike Fire Magby. With not max attack. Demo told me afterwards. Leaves Magby at 5%! 1 HP! This Poltergeist had an 80+% chance to kill. Not guaranteed, because it would have killed then. 80% plus chance in favor of Paycheck to kill there. And it would have 100% killed the Vulpix in the back if it hits the 90% accurate check. Magby's Berry Juice comes back up, and Thief goes for the kill. Steals the Choice Scarf, revealing the item, and Demo wins that battle. What a crazy turn of events. That's a crazy battle. That's an absolutely crazy battle. Next up, we have my battle versus Murkit. Now, me and Murkit, we go way back. We've known each other since 2018, which is, for some reason, 6 years ago. And I bet some of you hearing that will be like, oh, feeling old. Knowing that 2018 is, per this year, 6 years ago. 6 years. Yeah, it is 6 years ago. That's crazy. But nonetheless, we've played a bunch of times. Murkit is a good friend of mine, amazing competitor. He's on a hot streak lately. He's beaten me in BHA. He's beaten me in PBA. He's beaten me in every single tournament ending with A for a while now. Murkit is on a hot streak, okay? Murkit is a fantastic player. Now, I'm seeing some things in this matchup that I did not expect to come. One of them being male Combi. Why is Combi here? I'm thinking. I don't think my matchup is that bad versus Combi. I have one weakness to Combi. I guess Bug hits Ponyta if it's Scarf, but we'll get into the battle. The sound is on for some reason. Excuse me. The sound has been muted. Your ears are safe. I lead Stunky. Uh-oh, Stunky. Uh-oh, Stinky, Stunky. In this matchup, opposed to Squirtle. My Stunky is Covert Cloak for the Apom. Apom likes to run Fake Out. Fake Out has +3 priority, 40 base power, normal type stab move, in Apom's case, and it flinches you. Covert Cloak ignores that secondary effect, so that if Apom wants to go for that Fake Out on me, it will do the damage, but it won't flinch me, allowing me to make a move in return like doing damage. Little did I know, turn 1, Squirtle was going to use Fake Out. So, nonetheless, I get to do my move. Because, although it's not the Fake Out I predicted to outplay, it is a Fake Out I get to outplay. I do a knockoff, knowing that knockoff is the best move in the game. I either get Squirtle's item, which can be Eviolite, 1 or 2 Eviolites, which is huge. I already predict one of them to be on Spritzy, but you know, it is what it is. The second one, I don't know where it is. It can be on Bronzor, it can be on Squirtle, it can be on Elekid, for all I know. Or it can be Berry Juice, or it can be Choice Scarf, like, I don't know. So I want the item gone on this thing. Berry Juice gone. I switched to Chinchou, predicting Water move. Knowing I don't have Water Absorb. I need Volt Absorb for Elekid, but knowing I resist it, and I'm in a good position versus pretty much anything that wants to come in. Goes to Spritzy, which is slightly inconvenient. I Volt Switch, knowing there's not that much I can do to Spritzy. Figuring out that it's Eviolite here. Go to Duskull, Frisk it for, extra measure, but it's also because Duskull is kind of like my interrupter. So if Spritzy wants to do some crazy stuff, I can hopefully do something about it. Spritzy starts to Calm Mind. This is very scary. This is the best fairy type in the game. It's really tanky. It's not that fast if you don't Scarf it, which is okay. But it can run Trick Room to be the fastest thing because it's quite slow and demolish everything. It has one of the best wishes in the game because it's really bulky and it can heal a lot. And it does a lot of damage because it has Stab Moonblast. So I'm really scared of Moonblast as per right now. Shows and goes for Draining Kiss, which does clean 50% to my Duskull. And heals it at the same time. This thing is now full HP. It has its item. It's a Calm Mind up. This is scary. I Toxic this thing. Toxic is a very niche in LC and is not shown very often in LC. Because Toxic, the way it works is that it racks up damage over time. And so it's kind of like you're often better off with just a single like regular poison because it does 12% per. And the way percentages work is that the numbers are quite low in LC, so it takes a lot of damage for Toxic to rack up. And games in LC are very fast. They're over very quick. It's very offensive. It's not very stalling. But Toxic does kind of work versus things that wants to stay in for a long time. Versus Slowpoke. Versus Marini. Well, if it's not Poison type, obviously you can't Toxic in Marini. If it's Terra Marini. But like those kinds of Pokemon is what I'm thinking. Like those categorically. Spritzy. For example, if it wants to Wish, Calm Mind, Wish, Calm Mind, Wish, Calm Mind, Trick Room, Wish, Calm Mind, Protect, Wish, Calm Mind, Protect. If I have Toxic on it, for every turn it chooses to stay in, the Toxic will ramp up. So that is putting a timer on it, although the timer is a bit long. See, it does 3 damage to start. And I Shadow Sneak, thinking that it's going to go for another Draining Kiss. It goes for Calm Mind. So Toxic damage wraps up again. And it goes for Draining Kiss, as I predicted to do something else. So I don't Shadow Sneak the second time, making it go back to full HP. But now, as you can see from the Toxic damage, it did 11. The next Toxic damage will be 18. It's starting to pick up a little speed. I go Stunky. Okay, Stunky is faster than Spritzy. Spritzy is a Poison type. No, Fairy type. Sorry. What is going on with my brain today? Stunky is a Poison type. Spritzy is a Fairy type, which is weak to Poison. I have Poison Stab. I can hit it on the physical side because it doesn't have a boost there. I'm thinking I do that, it Draining Kisses up, and Toxic continues to rack up damage, and hopefully I can try and kill it. At this point in time, I even think my Poison Stab killed it, which, in looking at the calculation after, I don't think it does. We go for Poison Jab, doing a clean 54. So obviously it does not kill in any universe. Should I have been Gunk Shot? Maybe. But there's also a chance to miss. Draining Kiss comes out, kills Stunky, gives it all of the HP back. It's now +2/+2. My Stunky, my primary answer to this is dead. But Aftermath. My ability, since Draining Kiss, it's a kissing move. It does contact damage. Killed Stunky. My ability activates, which does damage upon a contact move killing it. So that, on top of the more racking up Toxic damage, it's now at half. Which is way more dealable than whatever it was at before. And Toxic damage is continuing to rack up, knowing that I have 2 Mons dead and he has 6 Mons on the field. This is going to be an uphill battle. I go to Picky Peck, and I threaten Fury Attack, which, according to calculation, does not kill. But we both thought at the time that it killed. Because he didn't know my item, and I was ignorant. I'll give it that much. I was hopeful. I know I can't knock off predicting a switch in that situation. I can't afford it. So I Fury Attack into Bronzor, which does... It does about 25% damage. I go to Ponyta, thinking maybe it sets up rocks, maybe it starts iron defensing. Like, I don't know what Bronzor does in this matchup, so I know it's very passive, so we try and go and punish it and try to go for Calm Mind, see what it can do. Goes for a Fake Out for free damage. That's fine. I go for a Psychic to finish it off, knowing it's not Eviolite and knowing he has no Dark type. Even if this comes in, Psychic will not bring it back to Berry Juice, I believe. I'm not too sure. And even if it does, I can continue to Calm Mind and go for moves after. But I kill it. Apom comes out. Wants to Fake Out. Fake Out only works the first turn you're out. Goes for normal type Terra to boost the Fake Out damage. Market told me after this was the wrong Terra type. He wanted something else. But this is what he brought to battle, and he's utilizing it to the best of his ability. On the same turn! I Terra Ghost to be immune to normal type attacks. Does not go for the Fake Out. As you can see, I'm faster. I get off a +1 Psychic, because this is a speed tie if it does not go for Fake Out, which is priority. And he goes for Return, which is a normal type attack that goes into a Ghost type. So it does not do anything. Next turn is also a speed tie. Now that we're both 19 and nothing is using priority on either side. He wins the speed tie this time. I won the last one. He wins this one. Goes for knockoff. Gets rid of my item. Leaves me at 1 HP. The funny thing is, unless he's Life Orb or like a damage boosting item for knockoff has no chance of killing me. I think it's like maybe 6%. It's either nothing or 6%. I don't remember the calculation. Gets rid of my Eviolite, which is the only reason I'm living that. I Psychic and I finish it off. Whoa. I kill it. Elekid comes in. Elekid is 20 speed. I'm 19 speed. It's faster. Knowing that it's probably going to want to use an electric type attack, I go Chinchou. Tanks the Psychic. Berry just brings me back up. Because I know, even if this thing hits me for damage, outside of its stab, because I'm immune to its stab because of my ability, Volt Absorb, which heals me, this thing can never go for stab attacks versus almost anything on my team. And this thing takes reduced damage from non-stab attacks, like Psychic. After the turn is over, I take note of that it's not Life Orb, so it may be Eviolite, it may be something to do with this substitute. Now, I Volt Switch, and I do believe there are some Volt Switch rolls that does not break that substitute for some reason. But it does manage to break it, and I go Timber. Knowing this is my second Eviolite user, I can tank a Psychic, I can live a Psychic, and I can Drain Punch in return. If I get Static, that procs my Guts ability, which gives me extra attack on my moves. And even though I might be slower than Spritzy and Bronzor, then I at least can go for Mach Punch to do some damage, or I can take it from there. I can play it by ear. Goes to Spritzy. I go for a knockoff. Spritzy now loses its valuable Eviolite. And although next turn takes toxic damage, takes the minimal toxic damage because it swapped out and reset the timer. Although I know I have Poison Jab for this thing, and Timber is in the usual sense faster than Spritzy, the way he played it by going in here baits me to think that it might be speed invested, because I know it's not absolute max defense the way I've been doing damage to it so far. So, fearing that he's faster, I swap the Chinchou on the Draining Kiss, giving it a lot more health, making it a problem again. At least the Eviolite is gone, but making it a problem again. Toxic damage racking a little bit. But I try to get rid of this thing here by going for Scald and trying to get rid of it. It Energy Balls. Crit does not matter. Kills me. And toxic damage leaves it at 1 HP. Here I have to make a call. If I go Picky Peck, he goes Elekid and I lose the game. If I go Timber, probably goes Combi and I lose the game if it hits the move that it wants to hit. So I figure make the last of it that I can. I try to restore this thing back to its former glory, get the Morning Sun, get the recovery, and it's a Draining Kiss, Morning Sun, battle. I heal, he heals. But as you can see, toxic damage is racking up, Draining Kiss. Okay, so I'm ahead of myself here. I heal to 96 HP. Draining Kiss brings me back to 62. And that's where Toxic Damage finishes it off. I'm Ghost Terra. Elekid will not kill from this range. Bronzor is too passive to kill this thing, so it has to go Combi. I have fire coverage for this thing because of Bronzor. Lives on 1 HP. It's not Focus Sash, people. You would think it's Focus Sash. It's not Focus Sash. Hits the Hustle boosted Dual Wing Beat. This thing had... This was my favorite role to kill. It was not a guaranteed kill, but it was in my favor. It was like 60-40, something like that. Hits both the Dual Wing Beats and dies to its own Life Orb. So now it's 2 versus 2. From the start where you saw the Spritzy, you would not think that this came down to a 2 versus 2. I go Timber. Obviously, I cannot go Picky Peck because if he goes Elekid, he's faster and I'm forced to switch into this taking free damage. So I have to go here. Go Elekid. I know I live a Psychic. If the Psychic is even a 3-hit KO the way I invested the Timber. It's kind of crazy. Non-Life Orb anyway. I do the knockoff thinking if I get static at this point, it doesn't matter because I can Mach Punch this and I can knock off Bronzor hoping I live a Zen Headbutt. I Mach Punch, still no static. Bronzor comes out. I'm faster and knockoff goes with the kill. A clutch game brought down to the very, very peak of what the Pokemon is able to do. The Spritzy ran house on my entire team. The Combi lived by defying odds. The Apom was wrong Terra, unfortunately. And Elekid threatened by being faster than a lot. We played an amazing game. Merkid is an amazing player. And I'm happy it came down to this. It's actually kind of crazy. That was the winners bracket. Me and Demo will play on Sunday. This has been your boy Soulblaze. That was a couple amazing games. Thank you for staying through the video. Have a nice rest of your day. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family, man. It's the only one you got. I'll see you guys out there. Peace.